All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Chihayafuru, Season 1, Episode 22. Chihaya, you made a bet.
Yeah.
And it was maybe a bit rash.
A bit.
Just a little. But I'm sure this is going to be fine, you know? You'll knock him out of the tournament, you know, or he'll get knocked out, and your hair will stay on your head.
Yes, every single one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we're counting on you.
I'm sure your family won't give you any kind of crap if you come home with the shaved head and you're like, hey, I need some hats.
You know, like, she might get a lot of sympathy. People might, like, make other assumptions about her. And
from
be like,
from
we're here
the
for
model
you.
Sister.
Yeah, and be like, well, you know, it's going to be okay. Like, we're here for you. If you're struggling.
Are you getting bullied at school?
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
People are just like being like so soft and kind, like, oh, goodness, if you need anything, I'm here. You know?
Right, yeah.
But otherwise, no. Pseudo, get ready to have a buzz cut. That's just the way this is gonna be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
She's fired up. She's turned back on her speed.
That's right.
She actually like engaged the other gear turner here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nah, training weights are off. I'm done.
That's right.
I'm out. I'm ready. Y'all aren't though, for this.
Yeah.
Chihaya that doesn't make mistakes. At least many.
Many.
Or maybe
Right.
more than one.
Yeah. That's why I'm worried, because it's
Right.
Okay, use your speed now. That works in that match, that specific match. It's still going to be a glaring problem in the others, methinks.
Yeah, still, but the thing is, though, is that she is still a competent Class A player.
Yep.
She is, I would say, a good Class A player. Maybe not in the top half, but I would say that she is still, like, you know,
she made it to Class A, and that is damn impressive.
That is damn impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Oh, what do we got? Huh. What?
Taichi's like,
what does this mean?
Who is this? I love the way they're all saying the name.
He just gets out the hair razor.
Oh.
What do I do, Doctor? Let's try this. He pulls out clippers.
Since you're going to lose anyway, you might as well rattle her. You know?
Yeah.
They start playing really dirty. They're like, Chihaya, I'm gonna shove certain things up your nose. What do you mean? Don't ask questions. Shoves things up her nose and then puts like nasty smelling shit all over her. Like,
wouldn't that affect Chihaya too?
No, because she can't smell it.
Ah.
Like, this is something that I'm sorry that I'm bringing this up. But if you're playing a sport like this where you don't have good air conditioning, the problem is not that everyone's gonna get too hot. It's that it's going to start to stink really bad in there.
Yeah.
And then
you gotta bring that nerd like knowledge, right? If you've ever been to a convention.
Then you can weaponize stink.
Yeah. Bunch of people that don't
shower.
That is
a very toxic, pun very much intended way of playing.
I don't think people in Japan would smile on that kind of strategy, but
it would work. Yeah.
They'd be so taken aback by it.
Right. Don't be so starstruck. Oh. Damn.
Okay.
This person is depressing.
Yeah. So, basically just hope that Pseudo gets knocked out really early in his match. That way, you can still lose but win.
How long must this go on? Nice. Nice.
Okay. Oh, look at those calluses.
Oh, she saw her opponent. The first thing she has is praising her coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you remember the emotion. Yeah. All right.
水北海で会ったことある。
時間がすれ違いですものね。
Gotcha.
小さい頃から知ってるよな。山本ゆりさんってどういう。あれ
He still lost round 1. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lost by 20
Oh my
cards!
god.
負けたのが
Bro! Bro is shook!
言葉でしか知らなかったんだ。ド S って
Oh!
お前をカルタで料理しても体に悪そうだからな。
Jesus.
すげえ怖え。怪獣ばっかで勝て
Yeah, yeah, you are in the new pond, you know.
Right.
でどんなカルタを。
山本ユーミンだ。
ごめん。
He's got a demon nickname for her.
根気強い粘り腰っていうか、
Okay.
特にクイーンに一回なってからは。でも本当のユーミンはバッキャー。白波会のやつなんかとくっちゃべってねえで。ユーミンの応援をしろ。クイーンを奪還する姿を見てら。
Ouch. Sorry, sir, but I can't do that.
昼になって暑くなってきた。
Yep.
どこかのタイミングで換気しないと選手はたまったもんじゃない。
That's probably going to put things in the other lady's favor because of her experience.
コンパクトで正確な距離感。自陣の定位置が体に叩き込まれてる。
Yeah, she seems relaxed. Yep.
Breathe.
この大会は暑さとの戦い。
一般の人が中に入らない。
Okay.
選手はみんな平気。
God, you can see the steam in the air.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like the not heat waves, but like it's you could feel the mugginess.
しかも相手は全クイーン。
Yeah. Nice.
楽しい。
Okay, okay. Only one behind.
取る。
Okay, we're even. Oh, you're catching up.
All right.
今日はお手つきもない。待ってる。
この子、クイーンと同じ高校生。人でカルタの才能もある。神様って本当不公平。自分の取り柄はカルタしかない。
Gotcha.
And that already got taken from me.
Yep.
小さい頃からカルタにかけてきた。なのに。
Yep. She raced past you.
やっと手に入れたクイーンの座をたった1年で若宮忍に奪われた。
That's brutal.
自分のカルタをさせてもらえなかった。
Yeah.
彼女はきっと
Someone at least like 6, 7 years younger. Yeah. At
その
least.
くらい圧倒的だった。ここで勝っても最後に控えてるのは。
Try and take
Ah.
it back.
Oh man, she's thinking ahead about the wrong match, and thus she's getting in her
Yes.
own head.
Yeah, losing her mental.
どんだけ暑いんだ。
Chihaya's already cooked in her brain, so you know she doesn't. She doesn't.
She can't get any
She
more.
can't get
cooked.
any more cooked. Exactly.
綾瀬4連勝。惜しいユーミン。
Is this gonna be like putting down an old horse?
Yeah.
どうして笑うの？全クイーンが夢を叶えた人がどうして冷えてくの？
ユーミンの粘り腰はこれからだ。
Anytime now?
社会人になって練習量が少し減っただけだ。
Does Nishida recognize this?
もうちょっといけたろうよ。ユーミンどうした？金沢大会2回戦負け。そういう日もあるな。
Uh huh.
大丈夫。
Trying to prop her up, but no, she's moved on.
頑張ります。頑張ります。頑張ります。頑張ります。
Whoa, the fading
疲
subtitles.
れるんだ。
Dang.
負けることに疲れるんじゃない。期待に応えられないことに疲れていくんだ。
Maybe Chihaya can get her to just enjoy this again.
君はもう自分でゴーと言える。
諦めてしまった人に一枚も取られたくない。
結露がすごくて全然中が見えない。頑張れ。千早。
ユーミン、曇って見えんぞ本格的に。
北野先生、静かにしないと。
カラフダでしょ？
カサン
カラフダなのに。
綾瀬5連勝。
That's really good though. Going for the card that it might be.
これまで丁寧だったのに。
Yeah.
まるで
And just pulling it if it's
発症すると決め
dead.
たような。
She's
Does that
smelling
get
blood
you
in the
fired
water.
up? Does that get you stubborn and you're like, no. Nice. You could have picked a better spot.
ここの皆さん誰も歌は聞いてないです。
Oh.
そんなことあるかもね。
I loved this sport with all my heart back then.
窓ガラスなんかないみたい。やっぱり歌なんだ。歌だから届くんだ。
読書さんってすごいよね。階級があって試験が名人戦クラスで読める1000人読書は
Whoa.
10人もいないんだって。
Whoa.
That makes sense, though.
それはどのくらい難しいんでしょうか。
God, I might want to be one.
Yeah.
ちはやちゃん
That would make a ton of sense.
と歌を聞いて。
強烈に勝ちに来てる若宮忍といいこの子といい勢いがあるのが当然って顔して国ないですよ。でも
Let's see her grit those teeth.
そんなに熱くなったら
ちぎり用なのに地派に行った。まさか千早が地の聞き分けを間違った。敵陣へのお手つき。
And she gave up a really...
Oh, shit.
Wait, a double fault, meaning...
So she commits a fault while the other person gets the card.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not an actual double fault, it's just...
It's just a double card.
It's a double card swing, yeah.
Yeah.
クイーンが相手のミスに救われるなら7枚差から4枚差勝負どころはここだ。
Or unless it is actually a double fault, because she just said it shifted things 3 cards.
ここから
Excuse me?
タノさん、なんてことするんですか競技中に。
バッケロ判決になるだろうが。ちょっとは空気の入れ替えしてやらねえと。こっちから窓吹け。
北野先生。涼しい。
Yeah.
今いいタイミングでリフレッシュしちゃったのは相手の方なんです。
まだまだ大丈夫だ。自分のカルタをしろ。
Oh.
That's sweet.
もういい加減にしてく
But
ださい。
also, stop.
また開けられたくなかったら10分おきで窓拭いてくんな。
Yeah, he can do that. Like, that's not a
Yeah.
hard thing to do. You know?
Right.
自分のカルタ。
そうだよ自分のカルタ。
自分のカルタ。
今単純な人みんな励まされちゃった。
次は必ず若宮にリベンジだ。
Chipun once!
なで練習してきたカルタ。自分のカルタで
勝負する。
よし取った。
え、待ってください。私の鳥だと思いますけど。
払ったの私。
払ったのはそちらかもしれませんけど、私の小指が先に触れてるんです。こう、
How do you
その後押されるように払われただけで。
how do you judge this?
私だと思うんですけど。
その後、あなたが上から札に触れて払ってき、こういう風に。
そちらの鳥でいいです。
どうした。
戻ってきた。伝説の揉め弓が。
Wow.
All right, yeah.
How do
Get
you judge
scrappy.
that, though? That's kind of...
ユーミンはどちらが取ったか微妙な時に一歩も引かずに堂々と揉めることで全員の試合が中断されるし、あまりいいこととはされていない。クイーンにはふさわしくないと一切封印。
The stubborn and persistent side of things
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
out in that regard. Oh.
やりにくい。
So it's self-refereed.
すみません。
Cool.
集中。
Wow.
やり
Okay.
にくくても集中して取るべき札を取る。
やった。
何か勘違いしてない。
Uh-huh. She's listening to the poetry now.
なくて当然なんだけど。
一枚も取られたくない。
Yeah, where'd that go?
私は何を。全クイーン相手に私は何を。
Fall back into the water. Relax. All right.
ごめん。あんなに勢いに乗ってた千早が萎縮してる。
Complete shift in pacing here, yeah.
気持ちの強さがこんなに大事なんて。気持ち。
Yeah, that's what you're building up, Taichi.
Uh-huh. Right.
強さ。
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Dig deep.
待ってください。今の私の方が早かったですよね。
No.
ほら、ここ当たったし。
No.
あそこよく揉め。
I think she did, though.
どうしても揉めるところが目立っちゃうけど、他の選手より少しだけ丁寧で少しだけ正確。頑張れユーミン。
Nice.
Taken from you.
She won.
Okay, so now hope that Pseudo lost before you did.
How are you feeling, Chihaya?
Okay.
She's got to go bald.
Well, that's another thing for you to learn and why you need to be precise. Because if you're not, the other person might get there that little bit before you. And if they're confident enough to contest it and actually know that, yeah, they did.
Well, that's the part that in a one-on-one sport like this, you can't have, in my opinion, unreffed stuff like this. It should go on the space which the direction it was gone. So if you're both swiping different directions, because odds are you're both going to be right-handed, the direction that it was sent will be clear.
Sure, but then you could get something where it's less about actually touching the card and more about like power.
No, you could absolutely do that, but that's why you could very easily see the difference if you had refs at specific points.
Oh, sure.
And then you just call a contest, and then you go, oh, I contest your contest. Ref, what did you see? And then the ref goes, it's their point.
Sure.
And it's simple. The fact that the ref was never brought in for that,
Yeah, that's where what they really want to have is like, well, I guess if it's that precise, a camera wouldn't help.
A camera would not help. No. It actually would slow things down way too much. Okay,
Chihaya.
A hard-fought battle. You lost by 4 cards. Mm-hmm. That is a
good match.
Fair match.
That is a possibility that Pseudo lost like earlier than you, maybe because you didn't hold out a long time.
You went fully into the match. That was a very strong opponent that you were up against. I love the context of the previous queen giving us a little bit more of a side build-up for Shinobu as well. Understanding that, she's the new queen and that this was just recently something that she lost. The previous queen here. But specifically, her Karuta is one that was scrappy. She would get down and dirty with it.
Right.
And yet, in a lot of ways, I don't see her as what I would call a malicious or aggressive player.
Nope.
But she's taking advantage of something that most high-level competitors in sports do in every single sport, bar none, which is basically that if the refs aren't looking, you can do a lot of things that are not illegal, but are like, gray area. And I think that because of this sport being very like refined, very respectable, in that we're not like physically harming each other. There's not any contact. Well,
Right,
there is contact.
But if someone like goes to like cover a card, you're not like trying to like crush their hand and smack it out of the way anyway.
Right, you'll probably get thrown out of the league for that.
Yeah.
But the idea that there is a negative connotation to these call-outs being done means that it's probably a weakness within the sport of Karuta
With just
regards
how it's
to
designed.
how it's designed, and she's exploiting that.
Right.
Because saying I got it with my pinky or my finger and stuff like that there, I would too if I wanted to win as much as possible and cheat out a card here or there. You know?
and especially if it's something where like, if you're up against someone that's as gung-ho as like Chihaya, right? Has all that speed and everything, but they're not like, there isn't that precision.
Yeah.
They're not going to be thinking about that, right?
No.
Because they're doing it in a completely different way than you are, right? And so they're going to think, I got that. And it's like, no, I know you want to win, but you didn't get it,
Yeah, I think that this is something, again, where I don't have the perfect, be able to blink and see the microsecond, because we're also dealing in animation where we're already dealing in frames per second, where you're not going to be able to tell exactly who won things. Now, I do think that most, if not all, of the contests that she made, she was actually right to do, especially like some of the
like some of the ones where she called like the pinky or or things like that. Like I feel like I could see like that both of the hands kind of going in.
Yeah, if anything, it's the too close to call from my perspective. So if she calls it, she's the veteran. I understand the intimidation side of things.
Sure,
but that's the part
where it gets dicey.
That's the part where it gets dicey. And I come from a sport that is self-refereed at the non-pro level. Like almost all non-pro Ultimate Frisbee games are self-refed. And basically you can contest any call that another player makes. So you can have someone pause the game to call out a foul, basically.
Sure.
But it has to be directly interacting with you. Like you have to be the one that calls it if it interacts with you. You can't call for somebody else.
Sure.
Unless it's I mean, there's some technical things with that. But the problem with this specifically exists in Ultimate Frisbee as well, is that people abuse this rule and they are able to stop momentum. They're able to stop specific aspects of play.
Sure.
It is used definitely maliciously at certain levels by players that specifically the sport knows that it's a problem, and so at the lower levels they have a thing called spirit of the game, where basically if someone is abusing it, you can basically dock the other team's spirit score to let the league coordinators know that they are basically taking advantage of those kinds of things in order to bring down the overall enjoyment of the game for the other team.
Okay, cool.
And this, in my opinion, is a very good thing because Ultimate Frisbee is not nearly as competitive as Karuta, I would say.
Sure.
So it basically...
but also by it being something that affects the whole team, then the team is also
encouraged
and
keep
specifically
problem players from being
right,
problem
like
players,
rewarded for keeping problem players from being problem players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. It's a community decision that I think is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But in a one-on-one game like this,
right,
you can't have self-refereeing,
right,
in my opinion.
And while maybe, in like the challenge matches for the title of Queen or Master or whatever, maybe they do have cameras like a regular sport thing, and all that.
They totally do, but it's the kind of thing that it doesn't matter because you spent years getting to that point. So if your top players are just the best, odds are they're not just the best all the time.
Right.
They're also doing little things here and there that give them an edge.
Right.
And they don't have to be negative things. But I think that maybe one of those that she called was a bit too close to make that decision.
Well, and that's where in one of the previous videos I brought up the idea of actually trying to be better at something versus trying to win at something.
Yes.
Right? Because as an example in fencing, I do historical fencing, which is different from sport fencing. In sport fencing, you can do a thing where you can basically because the blades are very flexible, you can flick it so that it bends around and it just sort of taps them on the back.
Yeah.
And that counts as a touch, even though from a standpoint of if it's a weapon, that is going to do absolutely nothing, right?
Right.
Because it's this is being done as a sport to win a thing rather than we're trying to develop the skills of self-defense or something.
It's the reason why Kana gets so not upset, but really just bummed out that people aren't actually listening to the poetry.
Right.
Because this is a game that is about poetry from the structure of it and the celebration of poetry. But in terms of actually winning at Karuta, you don't give a crap about the poetry.
And if you've gotten to Class A, then you are very focused on winning Karuta, right? That's how it will work.
Some people will intentionally play sports at lower levels because they actually are focused on a specific aspect about it that does not keep them from winning, but it definitely lessens their their high top-end performance.
Right, but it makes them end up having more fun.
It makes them have more fun. Right,
Yep.
right. And in some ways, that's to be celebrated too, because we need people playing at all levels of a sport because, hey, you want to build the market for a Karuta or your sport, you need a lot of people at the entry level that are fun to play against.
That are getting excited about it,
well, not just excited to play, not just getting excited, but really are fun to play. They're welcoming for the new players. In some ways, their less competitiveness isn't because they're let me use this as a positive. They can be competitive people, but if they're sour competitive people, they're just bummed that they're losing.
Yeah,
they can actually turn off new players.
Exactly. In the case of Chihai's previous match with the kid,
Yeah.
it's oh, I'm really glad that the kid is such a, prodigy, has been playing karate so much, so that Chihaya stomping her isn't like soul crushing, and she's not like, oh, I might want to give up karate, because no. She knows she's about this. She knows she's really good at this and has, already spent a lot of time and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she's in Class A, so that
yeah, exactly,
that
right.
comparison is like,
yeah, she's
already
kind of at
cream
the
of
top.
the crop.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's maybe unfair comparison, because just because she's a kid doesn't mean that that's going to be a problem or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But that is a great point. But Chihaya, as a result of several contributing factors, and maybe also not taking your opponent seriously to the very end.
Yes.
And this is where the competitive side of things I am absolutely about, and it. Not that like it bothers me on a personal level if I don't have any investment in the outcome of the thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But from a principle level, right? I'm like, no. You be hyper competitive.
Yes.
You crush your opponent into the dust. You do not give up. If you're up
It's
24,
disrespectful to not take them seriously.
exactly. If you're at 24-0 against them in Karata, you
Take that
destroy
last
them on
card
that last card, right?
With absolute
extreme prejudice,
feisty fury,
yeah, like because one, you never know, and you might have something where
never
there's
know.
some crazy upset, right? Like, and that's kind of what ended up happening here, with a difference as small as 4 cards.
Yep.
If Chihaya had just been like, oh shit, I said I wasn't gonna let her take a single card, she just got 3. I need to lock the fuck in.
Yeah.
Like maybe it would have been different.
Yeah, I have taken back. It wasn't me, obviously, but my team took back what was it? We were down 13-5.
Oh God.
And this is games that end automatically at 15. So we're 2 away from losing. Wind suddenly picks up.
Okay.
Nobody can throw more than like
Sure.
5 to
Completely
10
changes
yards.
the style of the game. Yeah.
Now it's an athletics stamina game, because
Okay.
you have to be able to play really slow offense, like
Sure.
really like,
And also
s-
really clean to make sure that you like.
perfectly clean.
Yeah.
Defense completely changes and becomes hyper aggressive. And frisbee is an offense shifted sport.
Right.
It's like basketball. It's very easy to put points on, but it's about how consistently you can put points on.
Sure.
And if suddenly everyone is scoring defense points because the offense is making it easy, you can get dirty and you
Yeah.
can intentionally play and give the disc to the opponent in a bad position and be like, go play offense now.
Oh, nice. I like it.
So you can punt it specifically for that.
Sure.
We came back to win.
That's wild.
And they called the game on time at, I think it was 13-14.
That's insane.
Yeah, we held them to 0 points after that.
Yeah. Good job.
Yeah,
right?
It was incredible, but it was basically one of those, we didn't give up. But
Right.
like it was a match for the ages as far as
Oh, yeah.
They thought they had absolutely won it. They were a better team.
Right.
They were a little bit older, so that's why they lost the stamina game.
Right.
Just in general.
And that's why it's not over till the fat lady sings, like until your opponent's, well, this is too gruesome of an example, but
It's all right. You already said until
Yeah.
the fat lady sings. So
Yeah,
go
okay.
ahead.
Well, what I say about, villain characters when, in some action-oriented story, if you don't have their head on a spike in a box, they might still be alive.
Might still come back. You
Yeah,
never know.
yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that this was another loss for our main character. I love sports anime, or even just sports stories or competitive stories like this, where the main character can lose a lot. And I think you learn more from losing than you do from winning. So
Right.
our main character has a lot to learn.
Maybe, hopefully, not about how the wind can feel on her bare scalp,
But
she might
she
learn
might
that
actually
lesson.
learn that lesson. And
Yeah.
it would be really funny to see hatted Chihaya or, like just Taichi laughing at her bald head would
Yeah.
be just the funniest
I mean,
thing.
hey,
Like,
if there were to be anything to firmly teach Chihaya to not be quite so impulsive,
yes.
this would be that.
This would be that,
This,
yeah.
this would do it.
And Sudo was coming into this tournament like
Oh, yeah.
with something to prove.
Right, he
I
crushed
think he
Nishida
really
by
got-
20 cards. That's insane.
I think he got kind of like ego checked by losing to Chihaya back then.
Right.
And he's like, wait, wait, am I washed? Like
Yeah, exactly. I was talking shit and then I got rinsed or beaten.
He was the one to beat for his team too.
Right. Yeah.
Of 5 back then.
Yeah, exactly.
And Chihaya,
Chihaya beat him.
Chihaya beat him.
So
So maybe he also dug deep and found
See, and that's where
found his spiral power.
And that's where this is a bit. I think this is a bit cheeky, but of the show, but also Chihaya wouldn't really think of this. Once you learn, I'm up against the previous queen. Oh shit! Yeah, tell me everything that you can about how the queen plays and everything. Also, who's Pseudo up against? Like I might be fighting a losing game here, and so can I just?
Nah, you gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
In before they like. Nah, there's not gonna be anything like that. I was just gonna say that like they specifically make a point to never show Pseudo on screen.
Right.
Whenever he's not the focus, which feels weird because he's tall, he's wearing a red shirt.
He's got
and
gray
they show
hair,
the room a lot, and it's just like, where did he go?
Yeah, right.
Like,
exactly. So are we gonna like go to the next episode and it's like, recapping the end of the match and everyone's freaking out and they're like, no, and then Pseudo's like, from outside.
Exactly. That would be fun. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. Also, be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.